All right, let's just jump right in. We hear so much about AI completely changing the game for network automation, right? But all that hype, it usually skips over the most basic, most fundamental question. What are we actually supposed to feed these AI models? Because, it's not magic, it's data. So today we're going to break down the essential data diet your network AI needs to actually succeed.
So here's the plan. We'll start with the golden rule: garbage in, garbage out. Then we'll use a pretty cool smart car analogy to make all this data stuff feel a bit more real. After that, we'll dive deep into 6 critical data feeds, talk about why the format of the data matters so much, and finally, wrap up with how you can leverage the data you already have.
Okay, first things first. We have to start with the single most important principle in any data project, and this is especially true for AI. You've heard it before, I'm sure. The quality of what comes out is 100% dictated by the quality of what you put in.
And this quote from IP Fabric just nails it. The risk here is huge. When you feed an AI bad or outdated info, it's not just going to make one bad decision. No way. With automation, it can take that one bad decision and multiply it across your entire network. We're talking about creating problems at a scale and speed that is, frankly, terrifying.
And this right here, this is the gap we're all trying to close. On one side, you have the incredible promise of AI. Proactive, intelligent, automated operations. But then there's the reality. And for a lot of folks, that reality is that these amazing tools are completely crippled right from the start. Why? Because they're being fed a diet of stale, inaccurate data from some untrusted CMDB, or even worse, manual spreadsheets.
So to make these different data types a little more concrete, let's use an analogy pretty much everyone can get: a self-driving smart car. See, just like that car needs a bunch of different sensors to drive safely, a network AI needs a whole variety of data feeds to do its job right.
First up, you've got the source of truth. Just think of this as the car's GPS map. It doesn't show you the live traffic right now, but it defines the intended state, the correct roads, the speed limits, where you're supposed to end up. For our network, this is the master blueprint. It tells the AI what the network should look like.
Okay, so you've got the map. Next, the car needs its dashboard in real time. This is our streaming telemetry. It's not about the route anymore. It's all about the health of the car, right this second. Is the engine getting hot? Is a tire losing air? This is that high-frequency data that tells the AI exactly what's going on with the network devices.
And finally, our car has to understand the actual traffic all around it. That's flow data. It's like having these advanced sensors that can see which cars are talking to each other, which ones are creating a jam. For the network AI, this is absolutely crucial. It reveals the real communication patterns. Who is talking to whom?
So, with that smart car analogy fresh in our minds, let's see how these ideas map to the 6 specific data categories that make up the complete diet for a healthy network AI. And trust me, every single one of these is indispensable.
And this table just lays it all out so perfectly. You can see a direct line from the kind of data you feed the system to the specific job the AI can actually do. You want to detect config drift? You need source of truth data. You want a baseline performance? You need telemetry. You just can't ask the AI to do its job without giving it the right food.
So, let's talk about the source of truth. The most important thing to get here is that it provides the baseline of intent. This is the design we all agreed on. Without it, the AI is basically flying blind. It has no clue if a weird config on a device is a legit change, or if it's some unauthorized drift that's about to cause a massive outage, or open up a gaping security hole.
Now for telemetry. For decades, we've relied on SNMP polling. And honestly, it's like taking a Polaroid snapshot every 5 minutes. You miss everything that happens in between. A modern AI needs an HD video stream, and that's exactly what streaming telemetry is. We're talking sub-second visibility. This allows machine learning to spot those tiny microbursts that polling would completely miss. The very things that cause those super frustrating, I can't replicate it, application glitches.
And this is where flow data, things like NetFlow or IPFX, becomes the real hero. Look at this ML workflow here. The AI is eating up all this conversation data to build a picture of what normal traffic looks like. So when a backup server suddenly starts blasting data to some random IP address it's never talked to before, bam, the AI flags it. Without that flow data, that subtle signal, which could be the very first sign of a data breach, is just totally lost in the noise.
So, to round out our AI's diet, we've got 3 more feeds. You have logs, which give the AI the narrative context it needs for root cause analysis. Then you've got configurations, which are the blueprints for all your automated policy and compliance checks. And finally, you have events and traps, those as-it-happens alerts that turn a giant sea of data into something you can actually act on. Okay, so we've covered what data the AI needs, but here's the kicker. How that data is presented is just as important. The AI has to speak a certain language, and that language is all about structure.
And this is a huge roadblock for so many teams. Legacy protocols like SNMP just spit out this messy, unorganized blob of data that an AI can't possibly understand on its own. So what happens? Engineers have to write these complex, fragile translation scripts just to make it usable. It completely defeats the whole purpose of having instant, automated analysis.
On the flip side, modern AI and automation tools are built to eat up clean, structured formats from the get-go. We're talking about things like Yang models or JSON and protobuf. The key thing here is that all of this data is ready for analysis the second it arrives. There's no manual translation step in the middle slowing everything down.
And this brings us to the last and honestly the best part of this whole story. You don't need to go out and create all this data from scratch. You're already sitting on a gold mine.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like a ton of work. Where do I even begin? Well, the first step is actually about what you need to stop doing.
Seriously, the single biggest, most impactful step you can take is to move away from these sources of error. Manual spreadsheets, they're out of date the second you hit save. A CMDB that isn't constantly validated, it's basically a work of fiction. These things are actively poisoning your AI with bad data.
So, the key takeaway here is this. Your network itself is the ultimate source of truth. The real work isn't about inventing new data. It's about building an automated pipeline to constantly discover, collect, normalize, and validate the data your network is already creating every single second of every day. And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. The success of network AI has very little to do with buying the flashiest new tool. It's about having the discipline to clean up your data to build that foundation of trust. Your network is talking. It's generating terabytes of data. So the real question is, have you built the systems to let your AI truly listen?